Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the proper use of this little friend, and that is a clicker. A lot of people use clickers for various animal training needs, and I thought it'd be useful to have a video to talk about the proper use of it and make sure that no one's making any mistakes when they're using their clickers. Now, you may have seen some very popular movie franchises which feature this and using it in a very, very wrong way. It may have been nice to raise sort of awareness of animal training, however, you don't train birds and you don't train raptors using a clicker in that manner. So again, we're going to talk about how to use one. And just leading on from that, when you're using a clicker, the very first thing you want to do is do a bit of classical conditioning, which is getting your bird to link the clicker with positive things, basically. This doesn't mean anything to a bird when you start using it, it's just a noise. And when you start linking it to positive things, so like this now, give Chip a treat immediately. We'll do it again. Oh, he doesn't want it now. That wasn't the best example. Give it to fish instead. So when you click, you give them a treat immediately. So I'm starting to associate my clicker with good things. And that basically means that when in the future I use the clicker, Chip and fish are going to think, wow, that noise means I'm going to get a treat. And it makes it a very useful tool, which we call a bridge. Now, a bridge or a bridging stimulus is basically something that links the action, for example, a target with Chip, to the consequence, which is a reward. So, for example, I don't really want to click right now, but I'm going to do something naughty just so I can sort of demonstrate it. So, Chip would touch the end of the target stick, I'll click immediately, then I would give Chip a treat. Now, what I just did in this video is wrong. You don't want to be clicking just randomly inappropriately, but I just wanted to illustrate how it would work. And it makes it such a useful tool because you pinpoint the exact moment that your parrot does that action. So, for example, Chip would touch, I would click exactly that moment at the end of it, and then I would give him a reward. And sometimes it may take you a moment to get a reward out of a pouch or from a ramekin or whatever, and that's where this is amazing because you've already pinpointed that moment of the behaviour and you've already made that association, so it gives you that few seconds to get that treat out. If you didn't have that clicker or bridge, then by the time you've got that treat, your parrot may have not made the association or broken the association, and then it sort of sets back your training. Now, when you're using this, you need to do it properly. Just like with the raptor example, you don't want to be just clicking over and over again. I'm not going to do it because the boys are still out. You want to be using it in the right way. Now, firstly, when you click, make sure you click at the end of the behaviour. So if your bird does a spin, the moment they finish that spin, you click, you give them a reward. You don't want to be clicking too early because that's going to confuse your bird. You don't want to be clicking too late because that's basically going to not serve as a bridge because they don't know what they've done to earn the reward. Say, for example, they've done a spin and then you wait a couple of seconds. By that moment, they could be preening, they could even be nibbling you. You're bridging their nibbling or preening. So make sure you use it right. Not too early, not too late. And make sure if you do click, you give them a reward afterwards. If you're just basically going to start using the clicker as a reward, it's going to lose its effect. You need to click, you need to reward, and that way it will keep its value as a bridging stimulus, and it will make sure that your training goes well and smoothly and nicely effectively. Just remember as well, don't wave it around, don't keep clicking, and make sure your bird's desensitized to it and already linked it to something good. Now, we used to advise small parrot owners to tend to avoid clickers because with conures, for example, or cockatiels, they could be overstimulating, they'd be quite scary. Now, we want to modify that advice a little bit and say that they are generally okay to use with small and medium parrots if you do the descent work. If you do that classical conditioning work and descent work, they can be fine. I'd still add a caveat with most species of conures, they can be overstimulating, so if you are noticing your conure getting overstimulated, use a verbal bridge instead. They can be very useful because they are so precise and they are so consistent, whereas a verbal bridge, depending on how you use them, can be a little bit less consistent, a little bit less precise. However, there is nothing wrong with using a verbal bridge instead. If you want to use a verbal bridge, just make sure you're using it in a neutral tone and make it consistent every single time, and make sure that your parrot is responding and linking to it correctly, because basically a bridge is a bridge. You know, a click is a bridge, a verbal bridge is a bridge, there's loads more of them I won't talk about in this video, and it's okay as long as you keep on using them. The bridge is there just to serve the purpose of linking action with consequence. You can use whatever bridge you like. Anyway guys, that brings me to the end of the video. I hope you found it useful on using a clicker, and if you do use one, you're basically using it right already and you couldn't even need this video. If you do and using it wrong, this video helps you out. But if you have any comments or questions, feel free to drop them down below as always. But in the meantime, from me, Chip and Fish, take care, have a really awesome day.